Thanks to the success of 1992's Basic Instinct, we got a massive wave of erotic thrillers that continued through most of the 90s. Some were good, some were bad, but all were loaded with sex, violence, and nudity. While most of you will remember the big ones like Wild Things and Sliver, there were more than a few that flew in under the radar. Here's 5 erotic thrillers from a much sexier time in movie history. Traces of Red. Traces of Red is a 1992 neo-noir erotic thriller from director Andy Wolk. The movie's about a homicide detective who's just been shot. The film is then told through flashbacks and everything that led up to the shooting. Jack, the detective, has been investigating a series of murders where women are being killed, and the killer leaves behind traces of red lipstick. The movie's all about sex, double crossings, cheating partners, and essentially everything you would expect in this kind of film. It stars James Belushi, Tony Goldwyn, and a pre-Sopranos Lorraine Bracco playing the manipulative Ellen. I agree with Gene Siskel on one thing about this movie. Bracco seems stoned the entire film.
Are you going to unplug the phone tonight?
She received a Razzie nomination for Worst Actress. She looks the part. She's playing a horny, possibly evil widow, but in her acting, she's trying to play it sexy, and her sexy comes off as baked.
Sensitive guy doing a macho job. That's a real turn-on to me.
The film opened November 13th, 1992 in 12th place. To be fair, it was only released in 387 theaters, which seems odd because I remember being inundated with ads for it at the time. It did slightly better than another movie that opened that same weekend, Love Potion No. 9, which opened in 278 theaters at number 13. With such a tiny opening, the movie did very poorly at the box office, but then did much better on home video. Apparently, it pulled in 224.8% more revenue, most likely because this is the kind of content that flourishes on home video. Some rented it to see Lorraine Bracco nude, but were greeted with a pretty obvious body double for her nude scenes. The movie was released on DVD. It's also available to stream on Fubo, Tubi, and MGM+. A House in the Hills. If you ever want to see Supergirl naked, well, here you go. You're welcome. A House in the Hills is an erotic thriller from director Ken Wiederhorn. It's about aspiring actress Alex, played by Helen Slater, who takes a job house-sitting a mansion for the weekend. The house next door recently had a break-in and murder, which has Alex on edge the entire time. Things go sideways when a thief, played by Michael Madsen, breaks in and takes her captive. Is he the one responsible for the murder next door? To make things more complicated, Alex is kind of attracted to him despite all of this. This is one of the many direct-to-video films released by Live Entertainment. One of the best things about the movie is the script is fairly consistent. There's no real, oh my god, that was stupid moments in the whole thing, which keeps you invested for its 90-minute runtime. Madsen and Slater, who are largely the only two actors for the better part of the film, play off each other very well. The movie was released on DVD back in the early 2000s. It's out of print, but it looks like there's plenty of copies out there. I heard a while ago it was getting a remaster for Blu-ray, but I haven't seen anything, so I don't know what's going on there. It's also streaming on Tubi and Plex. No Strings Attached. No Strings Attached is a 1997 erotic thriller from director Josef Rusnak. The movie is a little more Fatal Attraction than Basic Instinct. It's about Mark, played by Vincent Spano, who is in a relationship with Sarah, played by Tracy Lind. Mark is seduced by Nicole, played by Cheryl Pollack, who does all the naughty things that his fiancée won't do. It turns out Mark is a reporter, and this may be a revenge setup for some articles he's done in the past. This is a sexy but occasionally confusing film due to a lot of twists and turns and whatnot. It's also quite a departure for Cheryl Pollack, who most knew as Rita from The Heights. This was one of the last films that Tracy Lind did before quitting the industry. Later in the same year, she was in Kiss and Tell, and a few months later, Cadillac. It's an entertaining little movie that pretty much knows what it is. It's on DVD, but it's out of print and a bit hard to find a copy. It's also not streaming anywhere, but all the other movies that share the same title are. Surprisingly, the movie is on YouTube uncut. It was uploaded about a month ago, and given the content, it may not be on there for too long. So if you want to see it, don't wait. In the Heat of Passion. In the Heat of Passion is a 1992 erotic thriller from director Rodman Flender. It's about a young actor who has an affair with an older married woman played by Sally Kirkland. The woman's husband finds out and is accidentally murdered, so the duo cover up the crime. The actor begins to wonder, though, if the crime was really an accident or if he was set up by the scheming older woman. This movie was very unlike the movies that Kirkland would usually do. She was nominated for an Oscar in 1988 for her role in the movie Anna. In 1992, she was nominated for a Golden Globe for the TV movie The Haunted. Around that time, she was offered the role for this movie. Her agency didn't want her to take the role because it was beneath her now that she was an Oscar-nominated actress. However, Roger Corman personally asked her to do the role, and she didn't want to say no. Earlier in her career, she worked with Corman as a casting agent, and he was her mentor when she started to get into producing. Corman offered her more money than he would normally give to actors as well, so she took the role to make something outside of her usual comfort zone. Kirkland was very proud of the film. It gave her the chance to play a sexy character instead of a mom or a widow. This is the only time I've ever seen someone seductively eating asparagus. Not too long after the film was released, Kirkland was on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater for an interview, and they played the movie. In the Heat of Passion was released on Laserdisc, but it didn't make it to DVD. The movie is not available for streaming, surprisingly. With this being from Corman, I thought it would have been on one of Shout's streaming channels. The movie's on YouTube, and all the sex scenes are cut, so there's really no point in watching it there. Tropical Heat. Not to be confused with the TV series Tropical Heat from 1991. Tropical Heat is an erotic thriller that takes place in India and is directed by Jag Mundra, the director of one of the best bad Halloween movies of all time, Hack-A-Lantern. The movie was released in 1993. It's about Beverly, an American who's married to a rich businessman in India who dies when an elephant steps on him during a leopard hunt. The insurance company thinks this is a scam, so they send an investigator out to India, and of course, the duo have an affair. While this is going on, a woman believes her father's disappearance may have something to do with what happened to Beverly's husband, so she starts following her to try to get proof of this. The movie plays out like a soap opera with some softcore sex scenes sprinkled in. Most people probably watch this due to it starring Miriam Dabo, who was just a Bond girl a few years earlier in The Living Daylights. It's a fairly basic but enjoyable erotic thriller, with the whole "is she responsible for her husband's death or was it something else" spin going on. Entertaining but cheesy. Beautiful use of locations though, with it being shot in Mundra's home country. The movie was on DVD, but it's out of print. It's available for streaming on Tubi and Plex. Well, there's some sexy movies to enjoy on these cold winter nights. Before you go, I have an announcement to make.
It's been 84 years.
Well, maybe not 84 years, but I've been doing this a while and I'd like to continue that. Here's the short pitch. Support the channel with Patreon, get great exclusive stuff. Link below. If you want to know more, here's the long pitch. With YouTube's dwindling ad revenues and forced demonetization, they are making it harder for certain kinds of channels to survive. Thanks to TikTok, they want a non-stop barrage of vloggers and shorts, which is not what I am doing here. Look at something like my black hole video. You can't fit 50 years of history into 3 minutes. With that, I ask you to support my updated Patreon. I've made improvements that will make it much more focused on getting you guys involved. If you join the $2 level, you get early access to the videos, as well as the ability to see any private Patreon posts. At the $6 level, you not only get access to that week's video ad-free, but whenever I do one of my top 5 style videos, there will be a bonus 6th entry exclusive to Patreon. You'll also get access to special Patreon-only Discord channels on the GoodBadFlicks Discord, plus all previous rewards, of course. The $20 level is loaded. On top of all the previous rewards, you'll get the ability to vote on what movie, show, or whatever I'm going to talk about as the 6th entry in the top 6 videos. You'll also get a special thanks at the end of every video, and access to exclusive things like Discord watch parties. You can join me and a bunch of hardcore movie lovers to watch some wonderfully overlooked cinema. Next year will be my 10th year of doing this full time, and I have some amazing videos I want to deliver. A variety of good bad flicks, exploring, as well as a few surprises. This will help me to make the videos you guys want to see instead of trying to chase the algorithm. So, Noer Tap et Niage. Support the channel with Patreon, get great exclusive stuff. Thank you for your support.
Go on.
Then I smear pancake batter on my breasts and on my, between my legs. And Hans watches me and licks his lips.
I'm sorry, remind me, Hans is who?
My German Shepherd.
Right.